Okay, in previous class, we discussed about TQM framework, dimensions of quality, and historic review of TQM. Okay, in today's session, we are going to discuss about continuous quality improvement tools. Juran Trilogy is one such tool. Okay, so this is called as Trilogy because it includes three things, that is planning, control, and improvement. It is suggested by Juran. That's why it is called as Juran Trilogy. Okay. It is based loosely on financial processes such as budgeting, expense measurement, and cost reduction. Okay. This trilogy is based on financial concepts. Okay, which include budgeting, expense measurement, and cost reduction. So here we consider it in terms of planning, control, and improvement for by keeping in view of manufacturing. Okay, or manufacturing processes or other processes. So now in finance processes also it will begin with budget. Okay, so if you look at state government or central government, okay, they will do planning by uh, discussing about budget. Okay, and they will uh, put budget in front of the nation every year. Okay, so that is the first step, that is nothing but planning. Next they have to implement that budget. Okay, that is about expense measurement. While implementing, whether it is going as per plan or not. Okay, so that will be reviewed in control stage. Next, last one is improvement, how effectively you can make use of the available resources. Okay, that is about improvement. So now if you consider today's situation, okay, now uh, during this budget, okay, government announced some amount for vaccination. Okay, that is the plan. Now they have to implement that plan. So that means they have to provide vaccine for required people. Okay, so now whether it is going according to plan or not, so that is part of this expense measurement or control. Next, if there are some problems, government need to look at that, then they have to improve that process. Okay, so that everyone will get vaccine. So like that, for manufacturing also it includes these three stages. Okay, now you know what is happening with this vaccine. Okay, so we central government is paying 150 rupees, state government should pay 400, and in the private market vaccines are available at a cost of 600. Okay, now if you consider the vaccination program and if you want to apply Juran Trilogy for this vaccination, okay, first you should know what is the amount. Okay, so what is the amount that is put for this vaccination? Okay, do you know the amount kept for vaccination, or what government told during budget session? Okay, do you know the actual value? Okay, for vaccination, what is the expenditure for vaccination? Okay, central government told that, so we are allocating 35,000 crore funds for vaccination. Okay, but now looking at the current circumstances, they are not spending that much. Okay, if they are ready to spend 35,000 crores, so they can vaccinate the almost entire population of this nation. Okay, but they are not doing according to their plan. Even they are not ready to spend the 35,000 crore on vaccination, and they are doing remaining. That is a different discussion. Okay, now consider these three things one by one. So first is planning. Planning begins with external customers. For any product, there are customers. For any service, there are customers. Okay, in customers, we know there are two types of customers, external and internal customers. Okay, here we are focusing on external customers. Once the customers are determined, their needs are discovered. Okay, without discovering the needs, okay, you cannot release a product into the market. Then you may fail in the market if you don't realize the needs of the people. Okay, companies will fail. Okay, next, the next step in the planning process is to develop product or service features that respond to customer needs. Okay, first you have to identify the needs of the customer, then you have to produce a product, or you have to develop a service, okay, in order to satisfy those needs. Next, meet the needs of the organization and its suppliers. Even organization is having some needs. It may be to earn profit, it may be to give employment opportunities to people, or it may be enhancing the standard of living of people who are working in an organization, okay, or it may be keeping interest of the suppliers also. Okay, next, those features of the products or services, they must be competitive. Okay, service features that are competitive and optimize the costs of all stakeholders. Okay, so these are all involved in planning stage. Okay, now people are in need of various services. Okay, so they need vaccine, they need oxygen. Okay, they need medicines required um, for to treat corona. Okay, these are the present needs of people. Okay, now again, in order to satisfy these needs, okay, so there are you can apply these things. Okay, this is the first step. Next, control. Okay, control is used by operating forces to help meet the product, process, service requirement. Operating forces, they are nothing but managers. Okay, management of the company is nothing but that is the operating force. Okay, it uses operating force, that is management uses the feedback loop and consists of the following steps: determine items or subjects to be controlled and their units of measure. So here you have to first identify the parameters which you need to measure. Next, set goals for the controls and determine what sensors need to be put in place to measure the product, process, or service. Measure actual performance, compare actual performance to goals, act on the difference. Okay, you can understand these things by considering a closed loop system that we will do in the next slide. Okay, next, statistical process control is the primary technique for achieving control. So this we are going to study in detail, statistical process control in this course. Okay, this is the closed loop control system. Example for closed loop control system. Okay, so first you have to identify the parameter which you have to measure. Okay, so this is an example where you are using motor. Motor is the driver which is used to drive this work table. Okay, you have to move this work table in X direction. Okay, in this direction you have to move the work table. Okay, so you will provide input to motor, that is in the form of electric signals, electric pulses are the inputs for motor. Okay, once the motor receives the electric pulses, okay, it will rotate. Okay, then because of this rotation, because of the lead screw, this rotary movement will be converted into linear movement of the work table. Okay, next you will use optical encoder. This is one of the sensor. Okay, parameter is position is the parameter. You should know. Okay, so to what extent you have moved this work table. Okay, whether it is for 5 mm, 6 mm, 7 mm. Suppose you have given some pulses. Okay, for one pulse you may be able to get an output of 0.5 mm. So if you give one pulse input, that may result in 0.5 mm movement of work table in x axis. Okay, suppose if you give 10 pulses, okay, how much it should move? Suppose for one pulse, if the work table has to move for 0.5 mm, if you give 10 pulses, okay, how much it should move? Okay, for one pulse input 0.5 mm, for 10 pulse, how much it should move?
5 mm.
5 mm. Okay, next you have inputted 10 pulses, but what is the guarantee that the work table has moved for 5 mm? What is the guarantee? How will you get this confirmation? You gave 10 pulse input to motor. Okay, now according to your expectation, it has to move for 5 mm. Next, what is the guarantee that it has moved for 5 mm? So what you have to do? So you have to measure the position. Okay, how you can measure the position? You have to use the sensor. Optical encoder is one such sensor which is used to measure the position of the work table. Okay, so this sensor will measure the position, then it will give the feedback to the controller. Okay, now controller will compare the input value and output value. So input value is number of pulses to motor, output is actual position of the work table. Suppose if you have inputted 10 pulses and if the work table has moved for 5 mm, then it is okay. Okay, no problem with this operation of this arrangement. Okay, suppose if you have inputted 10 pulses, instead of moving for 5 mm, if it has traveled only for 4.5 mm, then there is a error. Okay, now in order to uh, rectify this error, what you have to do is, so you have to change the input. Instead of giving 10 pulses, now you may have to give 11 pulses so that you are able to achieve 5 mm. Okay, this is how closed loop control system work. Okay, so this we discussed. Okay, determine items subject to be controlled and their units of measure. In that example, the item subject or parameter is position. Okay, position of the work table. Next, set goals for the controls and determine what sensor. So in that example, we used optical encoder as sensor, that is the position measuring device. Okay, next, measure actual performance, that is whether it has traveled for 5 mm or not. Compare actual performance to goals. Suppose if the actual performance expected is 5 mm movement, instead of that, actually if it has moved for only for 4.5 mm, then there is a difference. Okay, if there is a difference of 0.5 mm like that in that example, okay, you have to change the input. Okay, this is how closed loop control system work. These are the steps. So we use statistical process control in order to achieve this type of control. Improvement. Improvement aims to attain levels of performance that are significantly higher than current levels. Suppose now if you are scoring 70% marks, okay, improvement means next your target should be 75%. Okay, suppose now we are able to produce 90 out of 100. Okay, so suppose if you are producing 100 units of a product, out of 100, if 90 are acceptable products and remaining 10 are defective, next you have to try to achieve 95. Okay, where only 5 defects. Next you have to go for 96, 97. Okay, that is the improvement. That means you always try to eliminate waste or eliminate defectives. Okay, production of defectives. That is the improvement. Okay, process improvements begin with the establishment of an effective infrastructure such as the quality council. Duties of this council are to identify the improvement projects. Okay, where the product or process can be improved. Okay, where the area of improvement or where there is a scope for improvement, that should be identified first. Next, establish the project teams with a project owner. Once you identify where there is scope for improvement, then you can work on that. You can create a team and the task can be assigned to the team and the team will work towards achieving that goal. Okay, next, this is the Juran trilogy diagram. It includes again planning, control and improvement. Okay, these are the three things involved in Jural trilogy: planning, control, improvement. Okay, planning will be done before actual production. That's why planning is from year to year. Before production, we are going to do planning. Okay, next, once production begins, then you are able to produce products within the acceptable range, or some products may be defective. Okay, initially, suppose if this is the required range, okay, if this is the upper limit and if this is the lower limit, and if the products fall within this range, we can accept those products. Okay, next, during actual production, there may be defectives. Okay, because of various reasons. Sporadic spike means sporadic waste means this is random waste. Okay, so immediately it will occur randomly without any proper reason. Okay, this type of waste can be addressed using quality control. If it is a chronic waste, it will occur quite often. Okay, repeat, it will for a particular period it will repeat. Okay, that is the chronic waste. So for this, you can identify the actual reasons why a particular type of waste or particular type of defect can be seen in the same product. Okay, what is the reason that can be identified? That is chronic waste, and this can be addressed with the help of quality improvement. Okay, so if you apply this quality improvement techniques, you are able to improve the quality. Now you can see the acceptable range. Okay, cost of poor quality means, so you are producing more number of defectives. Comparatively, after quality improvement, you are able to reduce the cost of poor quality. That means waste has been reduced. Okay, this you can achieve with the help of quality improvement. Okay, so that is the Juran trilogy. This sporadic waste can be identified and correct through quality control. That is, this waste is addressed by quality control techniques, whereas chronic waste requires an improvement process. So this is the chronic waste that will occur quite often. Okay, that can be addressed by improvement process. Next, PDSA cycle. This is another continuous improvement technique. So PDSA means plan, do, study, act. The basic plan, do, study, act cycle was first developed by Shewhart, then modified by Deming. It is an effective improvement technique. Okay, so it starts from plan and it ends with act. Plan, do. After doing, okay, whether it has been executed in a as per plan or not. Okay, that will be studied. Then if there is a difference between plan and what has been executed, then you must act on that. Okay, in order to implement the plan. First, plan carefully what is to be done. Next, carry out the plan, that is, do it. Next, study the results. Did the plan work as intended or were the results different? Next, finally, act on the results by identifying what worked as planned and what didn't. Using the knowledge gained, develop an improved plan and repeat the cycle. Okay. In case of physical products, okay, being mechanical engineer, so our planning begins with design. Okay, we will do design, then this design will be converted into a physical product. Okay, this is the plan and this is the output. Now, is there any difference between plan and the output? This is the design and this is the fabricated component. Okay, is there any difference between these two? ಇದೆರಡಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Both side hole is there.
So first question is there a difference? If there is a difference, what is the difference? Both side hole. Okay. So now you can see in the 3D model of this component here, there is no hole. Whereas in the fabricated component, there is a hole. That means you plan to get this product, but you have ended with an additional hole. Okay. This is the study. Now you have studied. That means you have observed the product produced or component produced. Okay. Now you are seeing that there is an additional cutout or there is an additional hole which is not included in the actual design. Next, you have to act on this. That means you may have to modify the program if you are performing on CNC machine, or if you are performing it manually, so you have to give instructions to the operator of the machine. Okay, so you are doing an additional hole. Okay, so don't do that. Like that, you have to give instructions. Suppose if an additional hole is included in the part program, okay, then you have to edit that part program. Okay, so that is the plan, do, study, act. So this is the plan and this is the actual component. You have studied and you identified that there is an additional hole. Now you have to act. If you are getting this component using CNC machine, then you have to edit the program. Suppose if it has been done manually, you have to instruct the operator that you should not do this. Okay, so this is how you can implement PDSA cycle. Next, there is one more technique called Kaizen. Okay, it is the process of continuous improvement in small increments that make the process more efficient, effective, under control, and adaptable. Okay, so instead of going for big targets, Okay, if you go for continuous improvement um, with minor modifications, okay, that is the suggestion made by Kaizen. Suppose if you are if you are scoring 70%, okay, instead of aiming at 80%, if you try to achieve 72, 74, 76, that is Kaizen. Okay, so it is achieving improvement in terms of small increments. Improvements are usually accomplished at little or no expense without sophisticated techniques or expensive equipment. Kaizen focuses on simplification by breaking down complex processes into their sub-processes and then improving them. The Kaizen improvement focuses on the use of value added and non-value added work activities. MUDA, which refers to 7 classes of waste, overproduction. Okay, if you produce products and if there is no demand for that product in the market, okay, that is nothing but that is waste. So you might have produced a product which is having very good quality, okay, but if no one is ready to buy that product, what is the use? Even that product which is having good quality is of no use if there is no demand in the market. You have to produce products as per demand. Okay, so that is one thing. So overproduction is also considered as waste. Next, delay. Okay, so another important thing is, so your production level should meet the market demand. If there is delay, you may lose an opportunity. Okay, now you know there is shortage of some of the products in the market like oxygen, okay, like vaccines, like medicines. Okay, now if you delay and if this peak over, then even though if you produce more, also no use. Now only the vaccine manufacturing companies or medicine manufacturing companies, okay, if they release this, if they are able to bring their product now itself, okay, they can gain this advantage. If they delay, okay, later on there is no guarantee that the same level of demand will retain in future also. Okay, so this is happen for most of the products. Then transportation means if there is unnecessary movement, okay, that is also a waste. Next, processing. If you are unnecessarily doing some additional processes or additional operation, that is also a waste. If you store material unnecessarily, that is inventory, that is also a waste. Then unnecessary movement of the worker or unnecessary material handling, that is also a waste. And if you produce defective parts, that is also a waste. So waste is not only about a defective product. Okay, if you produce excess amount of products than demand, that is also a waste. Okay, like that you can classify waste in these 7 classes. Okay, that is called as MUDA. Next, so we considered value added and non-value added work activities. Okay, next. So there is a question. By answering to this question, you can score some bonus points. Okay, so you can answer in chat section. Okay, you have to type and you have to answer for this question so that you can get these 5 bonus points. Okay, list the non-value added work activities in machining process. Okay, already I think you finished lab. Okay, so if you perform machining operations using lathe or milling machine or drilling machine, okay, there are few value added activities and there are few non-value added activities. Okay, here you have to list non-value added work activities in machining process. Okay, what are those activities that you are going to perform while machining, but directly they don't add value to the product. Okay, so those you have to list. So if you list one, you will get 1 bonus point. Okay, I will give 2 minutes. You can start typing your answer. This is the question. Okay, this bonus points you can convert it into activity marks. I already told you. Okay, so later this will be converted into marks and attendance. Okay, you can start typing your answer. So you cannot repeat the same answer. Okay, you have to type new point. Already Bharat has typed one answer, set up equipment. Okay, like that you have to identify non-value added work activities. Okay, last 1 minute. Okay, so time over. Now we can stop. Okay, so some of you have given correct answer. In machining, okay, when value will be added is, so when you remove material, okay, when you remove material from the work part, then value will be added. Okay, if you whatever operations or whatever activities you are going to perform, which doesn't involve this material removal, okay, so they are considered as non-value added activities. Suppose, okay, if you supply coolant, okay, that doesn't result in removal of material. That is a non-value added activity, supplying coolant, okay, and even setting, tool setting, that is a non-value added activity. Even placing the work part on the machine, okay, removing that work part, making adjustments in the machine, okay, and lubrication, that is nothing but supplying this coolant. So these are the non-value added activities. Okay, later I will note down this. Don't delete your chart. Okay, so if you delete, you cannot get the points. Okay, don't delete, keep them as it is. Principles of motion study and the use of cell technology. Okay, motion study means if you are able to avoid unnecessary movements while work, okay, that also reduce the effort put by a worker. Okay, so motion study is about how easily you can perform an activity with very less movements. Okay, in motion study, unnecessary movements of workers are avoided. Okay, that is motion study. Cell technology, it is part of cellular manufacturing and group technology. Okay, so if you choose industrial automation as elective, you are going to study about cellular manufacturing and group technology. So in cell technology, what we are going to do is, so if a company is producing, for example, 10 different products, okay, and the product variety is soft, that means only a few changes or few modifications, okay, then you can group those type of products into one group. Okay, so that is cell technology. In cell technology, you will group the products. In order to manufacture those products, you will keep the available facility machines as cell. Okay, so that you will study in industrial automation. Next, principles of material handling and use of one piece flow. Even principles of this material handling, automated material handling, you will study in industrial automation course. Uh, Even one piece flow, that is nothing but you are going to study about lines, okay, flow lines in industrial automation. So one piece flow means you have two approaches. Suppose if you want to produce 1000 units of a product, okay, every product consists of more than one part. You have to assemble them in order to get the final product. Next, uh, in order to get products, whether you will manufacture one part, okay, in thousand number, next second part in thousand number separately, Or suppose, for example, in order to get a component, okay, if you have to perform 5 operations, okay, in order to get a single component, you have to perform 5 operations. Suppose if you choose a strategy where you are performing the first operation on all 1000 units of the 1000 units, okay, next second operation on all 1000, third operation on all 1000 units, fourth operation on all 1000 units, fifth operation on 1000 units, then so you will get all these 1000 units of a product at a time. Whereas in case of if you go for one piece flow, what happen is here it will consist of this type of workstations. Okay, so that means machines in line. So one part will move. Okay, so you will perform first operation, second, third, fourth, fifth. You will get one part out. Okay, next second part out. Okay, so you instead of getting 1000 units of a part at a time, here you will get one after other. So 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So you will get finished products. Okay, that is one piece flow. So you will get 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. In the traditional approach, you will get all 1000 units at once. Okay, both have their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, but Kaizen, so he focuses on one piece flow. So the advantage of one piece flow is, so you can avoid some of the waste like overproduction. Okay, suppose you have anticipated that there is demand for 1000 units of a product. In order to manufacture 1000 units of a product, if you approach the traditional approach, okay, you will get all 1000 at a time. But in order to get all 1000 units of that product, you have to you have to wait for a lot of time. Whereas in case of one piece flow, okay, since simultaneous operations are performed on a product at different workstations, okay, immediately you will get the finished products. Instead of getting 1000, you may be able to produce 50 units of a product today itself. Okay, if you follow traditional approach, you are able to get 1000 units of a product after 1 week. But here today itself you can get 50, tomorrow you can get 100 like that. Okay, so you are going to get in one piece flow. So if you are able to produce at least 50 units today itself, you can release those 50 units to market and you can immediately gain market advantage. Okay, that is the advantage of this strategy. Next, documentation of standard operating procedures. Next, 5S for workplace organization, which are 5 Japanese words that mean proper arrangement, seiko, orderliness, personal cleanliness, cleanup, discipline. Visual management by means of visual displays that everyone in the plant can use for better communication. Just-in-time principles to produce only the units in the right quantities at the right time and with the right resources. So this is very important. Now you know, so what is happening with these vaccines, oxygen, and medicine. Okay, because we don't have enough supply in right time, so we are facing this problem, or the country is facing the problem. Okay, okay, to prevent or detect errors. Team dynamics, which include problem solving, communication skills, and conflict resolution. Okay, these are all involved in the Kaizen. Okay, Kaizen improvement focuses on the use of these 10 points. Okay, Kaizen means so these 10 points. Next, Kaizen relies heavily on a culture that encourages suggestions by operators who continually try to incrementally improve their job or process. Okay, so even Kaizen stressed on the importance of two-way communication. Okay, even in companies also there must be two-way communication. Otherwise, you cannot achieve TQM, that is quality management, cannot be implemented with one-way communication. You have to take suggestion from workers who are actually doing the work. Okay, they know what is happening in the shop floor than people who are making decision by sitting in their AC rooms. Okay. An example of a Kaizen type improvement would be the change in color of a welding booth from black to white to improve operator visibility. Okay, this is the welding booth. Okay, based on and the feedback from people who are performing this welding operation. Okay, you can change the color of this booth. So now you can see it is black color. Suppose if one operator gave you a suggestion, okay sir, please change the color from black to white. Okay, this change results in a small improvement in weld quality and a substantial improvement in operator satisfaction, because if you change this color to white, the visibility of the component may be better. Okay, so then because of that, worker may be satisfied. Again, the cost of this is very less. Even if it is not painted, instead of painting in black color, if you paint it in white, no additional cost is required to implement this. Okay, without any cost, you are able to make some improvements. Okay, that is the importance of applying this Kaizen. So I will stop today's class here itself. Okay, so I will continue in next class. Okay, so